Hi, guys. Hello. Welcome again to another segment of Talk It with Ruth, aka TWR. Welcome to my show. And just to let you know, if you like the content, you like what you're hearing, you like what you're seeing, like, follow, and subscribe on our Instagram, YouTube, and on TikTok. We're on all three platforms. And also, for those that love the listening ear, we're on Spotify and rss.com and also Apple Podcast. Go and like, follow, subscribe in all those major places. Welcome to another segment of TWR. So, hope you're all doing well. I know I am. It's been a minute. And there are just some things that are weighing on me at the moment that I feel like we need to talk about. Honestly, let's be honest. Let's be honest at this point. But is it just me? Or does it feel a bit heavy right now? And when I say heavy, I mean, as a society right now, does it feel like things are heavy on you or things are weighing on you? I know I feel that way, and that's the sort of vibe that I'm getting. Like, if you just listen to the news, or you're watching TV, or just in your daily lives, even I don't think I get it so much at work, but I think it's more, from a community, society, what's going on at the moment. Everything just feels heavy. The things that I feel that are heavy right now that we probably are dealing with quietly. One of the first things that I'll probably say is the cost of living, the pressures in the UK in terms of the cost of living. I don't know if you go into the store, when you go into the store and you just look at, I believe, food pricing, you look at rent pricing, you look at mortgage rates, you look at just everyday things, even to kids' activities, say football, swimming, buying clothes, buying shoes. And dare I say it, it feels like even some of those are more of a luxury at the moment. It feels like you go into the store and you see pricing, or you go online, you see pricing. You're looking, to rent a place. You're looking to just to be independent. It just costs a lot to function. It costs a lot to get yourself through from Monday to Sunday, and then it starts again on Monday. It doesn't feel like there's a break in sight. In addition to this, have you been to the pumps? Just buying diesel, just buying diesel for your car, just buying petrol for your car. The prices just feel astronomical. In addition, I don't know if anyone remembers when the government was pushing electric, buy electric, clean air, net zero by 20, was it 2032 or something like that? We're going to hit net zero, clean air. And then we get slapped with a new tax that is, I believe it's coming into play in 2028, where we will start paying more per mile to drive an electric car. Even your electricity bill, because I know that at the moment some electricity companies are doing deals where you can charge your cars overnight and it's a lot cheaper, etc. Even those deals are now more expensive, and it just makes you think that you're swimming against the tide. You're constantly, if you feel that you've caught up, you just feel like you're still being pushed back. You make 5 steps forward and you go 10 steps back. You're just constantly trying to catch up with life, and life just feels like it's pushing you back. And I'm trying not to be a very political person. I am so trying not to be, but it feels that at this point in my life, I'm so interested in what is going on, because every policy that is being made is going to affect you in one way or the other. Even when it comes to job uncertainty right now, you have we're in situations where you're seeing major Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 250 companies saying things like, oh, they're going to start swapping certain jobs for AI. And it's making you think, a lot of the graduates that are coming out now from uni, what is good? If we have a society that is only dependent on AI, What will the society be doing? What jobs will they be doing? And with what student loans cost now, it makes you think, is it worth going to university to spend all that money only to come out in with such huge debt, and you can't even get a job to pay that debt? And from what I understand now, okay, when did I graduate from uni? Maybe 2008. What student loan was then, you only started paying interest on it after you had finished university. Now, the interest starts from the day you get your loan. The interest starts building up. So if you're in a situation where you are the person putting yourself through university, you're going to have to start paying. It's either you start paying off the loan now, or you wait to finish uni, and by the time you finish uni, you'll be in more debt than when you originally took out the loan. It just feels very, very unfair. Luckily, I can say it, I finished paying my student loan. And I've moved on from it. However, all the young adults that are starting off now, how are they going to afford to live? If they live away from home, how will they afford to accommodate themselves, and how will they be able to afford their student loans? All of it just seems like it's on top of you at the moment. And then as parents as well, you then have parental pressures on top of that. I know, yes, you are responsible for your children when you have your children and things like that. But parenting, it feels like parenting, and I'm saying that as someone that has children, parenting today in 2026 is different to what it was in, I don't know, early 2000s, 1980s, 1990s. It's just very, very different. You have a lot more pressure, and a lot of that pressure is coming from social media, because your children are constantly viewing all of this. They're viewing all this content. Right in front of them, and there isn't much. You can do a lot about it. However, when they go to school, they're going to have those discussions. They're going to meet other kids that are maybe more exposed than your children are, and they will have these conversations. Classic example. My son came back from school and said something about, Diddy. And I was thinking to myself, I've never had a Diddy conversation in front of my son. How does he know? How does he know who Diddy is? How does he know who Diddy is? He wasn't like, oh yeah, Diddy did some bad things. There's some 5 top what did you call it? Sounds, or there's some top 5 sounds from Diddy's house. And I'm thinking, who, where, how? Number one, I've never listened to Diddy music or to Diddy's music around them. I've never had a Diddy conversation. It just never happened. However, it still found a way for him to be exposed to it. And till now, I've never still had the conversation with him. I've just told him that, it's none of your business. Diddy is none of your business. You don't need to know who Diddy is. And that's where I left it. I just said, don't talk to strangers, and kept it moving. But that Diddy conversation came from school. And I never had that conversation with them. And you just have all this pressure that it isn't necessarily coming from the home, but coming from outside. And that's not to say that some other children are not experiencing pressure. They're not being exposed to certain things at home. But for someone like me, where I try my best not to have certain conversations around my children, because they are listening, they're absorbing everything that you're saying, that pressure will find a way into your house. It will find a way, and you then have to find a way to then navigate that conversation with your child. Don't you feel that social media just makes you feel like everyone is thriving? It just makes you feel like everyone is thriving, everyone is winning. I don't know if it's real. All you have to do is just scroll. Classic example, just scroll through Instagram, and everyone just looks like they're winning, they're thriving, they're going out, they're having a nice time. And then you hear conversations like, oh, I'm 40 and childless and I'm having the time of my life. I'm having the time of my life. And then you think, well, I'm over 40 and I have children. Does that mean that I'm not having the time of my life? You just see all this content. And I don't know if it's really helping us as a society. I don't think it's helping us. I don't think it's helping us navigate life properly, because everything feels staged. Everything just feels very staged, like you're not doing as well. And you're thinking to yourself, I'm sure we're all living in this cost of living crisis. Where transportation is so expensive. Okay, I went out, I believe, a couple of weeks ago, and I bought a travel card. The travel card cost me £27.10p. £27.10p. And I was perplexed. I was shocked at how expensive it was. And I was just going out, just into central London. I was just going to central London, £27.10p. And I was thinking to myself, the last time I took a trip, and that's a travel card for zone 1 to zone 6. I live on the outskirts of London. So that's a travel card for zone 1 to zone 6 and to actually get into London. It was £27.10p. I could have gone to Paris with Ryanair, with that money. I'm sure if I checked well enough, I could have gone to somewhere else in Europe for £30, single tickets. I could have. And I just thought to myself, what if you have to be in the office five times a week, and you have to buy that travel card 5 times a week? How are you supposed to just so you know, inflation is at such a height right now, where we're living in a society where inflation is so high in 2026 compared to 2021, and wages are still sitting in 2021, 2022 space. A lot hasn't happened between that time and this time. Wages are still the same. So how are people supposed to cope on a day-to-day basis? I just feel like at this point, reflecting about it, you just feel overwhelmed. It's overwhelming to be here in 2026 as an adult. And I feel like a lot of us got sold, especially millennials. We got sold this dream that you work hard, you work hard, or better yet, you go to uni, you work hard, and everything will turn out fantastic for you. A lot of people that I talk to in my personal life just feel like adulting, they feel like it's a bit of a scam, because you were not that you were not necessarily informed, but you were not aware of the pressures that came with juggling family life, work, the pressures of just having your shit together. The pressures of having your shit together, and in the same breath having to raise children and raise them as, to the best of your ability and stuff like that. It just feels like adulting altogether is a big scam, and we're all realizing it. A lot of people their eyes are wide open, or should I say, we are woke. We are woke to the realities that adulting is a scam. I think the whole point of this, adulting just feels like a scam, and you don't have any control. We literally have no control. No matter how much we vote, when they're going to make a policy and they come with that red box, we have no say in that. And I feel like no matter which party that you vote for, you're not going to 100% like the policies that they're going to make. Even if you like 50% of them, the other 50% is not going to work for you, but you still need to vote for someone. So who do you vote for? Who do you vote for? Which vote are you going to make? And even when that 50%, you're happy with it, there's no guarantee that they're not going to turn their back later on and say, oh, this policy isn't going to work, so we're going to trash it. So in actual fact, maybe only 25% of the reason you voted for them, it will go through, and the other 75% is it's not going to, work for you. It's not going to work for you. And then they say things like, okay, with the pumps, as I said earlier, with the pumps, there was a policy where, if you're buying petrol or you're buying diesel, it will work out, 5p cheaper, etc. But with everything that's happening at the moment, who could have predicted? Who could have predicted what's happening at the moment? Who could have predicted that the USA and Israel will start a war and that would close the Strait of Hormuz and it would affect our pumps? It is directly affecting the pumps. It's going to directly affect what we buy in the store, and it will mostly affect Europe. It will mostly affect the United States. It will mostly affect, quote unquote, the Western world. So every policy that has been made right now in reference to making your lives a lot easier with energy, with getting yourself from point A to point B, even buying raw materials, things like that, everything has just been flushed down the toilet. And you're wondering, how will you not then have financial anxiety? How will you not then have financial anxiety? Some of the places where I'm listening to like radio shows, and you're hearing some people that are making above average, maybe like the 1%. Okay, someone called in a radio show. He was making about 230,000, him and his wife. And he was complaining. If you have people in that tax bracket complaining, you can imagine the trickle down of struggle that some other lower earners are actually feeling. Or if you just talk about like the average wage in the United Kingdom, how are they feeling? How do they feel when they go into the stores to buy food? Some people are going to make tough decisions between, should I fuel my car or should I pay for electricity? Should I pay for my gas or am I going to get lunches at work? Once upon a time, you could go into the office and you could buy yourself lunch. £5 would have done it. Now you need a minimum of £10. It's doubled. You need a minimum of. I think last time I went into a sandwich shop and I wanted to buy a sandwich, it was about £7.50 for bread, mayo, bacon, chicken, and lettuce. Either a baguette or sandwich. That's the average cost. And you're thinking, how are people supposed to survive, raise families, have work-life balance, etc.? How are they supposed to do that when things are so expensive? And it feels like the people at the top are the ones benefiting the most compared to the people further down. There's no way people are not going to have financial anxiety, even for professionals. There's no way some people are not going to feel like they're being left behind, to the point where if you have children, you have some level of parenting guilt, because there's some things your children will want to do and you just cannot afford it. Even going to the cinema, you might not be able to afford taking your kids to the cinema. Every activity, from swimming, little things like maybe karate, football, all of that, prices have gone up. So I think one of the things I want to say is, if prices have gone up, how do you then, where is the balance? How do you find the balance? And what is happening as well is that with social media and everyone, and a lot of people looking like they're thriving, and you as an individual, you're thinking, I'm not thriving. Like, what is wrong with me? Why am I not on this level? You then have this comparison culture. We're in a society now where you literally be comparing yourself that, okay, does that person have two heads and I have one head? You know, what is it that they have that I don't have? But one of the things that I've realized is when you look into that rabbit hole and you keep going and you dig in, you realize a lot of people are faking it to make it. A lot of people are faking it to make it. So in reality, and also there's this thing of they're faking it to make it, and you think that you're not doing quite well because you're not at that level that you perceive that they are because of what you're watching on the screen. But in reality, you're probably not doing that bad. You're probably not doing that bad. You're just quote unquote living within your means. You're cutting your coat according to your size. And there's this thing now that, oh, everyone has to have a business. Everyone has to have this hustle. There's nothing wrong with 9 to 5. We need to normalize 9 to 5. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you doing 9 to 5 and excelling within your chosen field. There's nothing wrong with, and if you feel, okay, I'm not earning enough within this field, stay there until you can certify yourself to move on to something else. There's this hustle culture that is going on at the moment that, oh yeah, you're seeing that, oh, this person is thriving within this industry. Maybe that's the industry I need to get into. There is nothing wrong with you doing the work that you're doing, that you're okay, and then saying, okay, after this role, I can move on to another role. One of the statistically, you can always get a pay rise when you move into a new role, maybe in a different company. But the way it's looking right now is, oh, I need to do my 9 to 5 and do a hustle on the side and da. And yeah, I can do that too. And then you see all these people with this flashy lifestyles and stuff. And I can tell you, I don't think all of it is real. Some of it, I think a small portion of it is real, but the vast majority of it, it's not real. All you have to do is look at these people's bank accounts. Are they showing you their bank accounts as they're living these big lifestyles and you're watching it on your screen? Are they showing you their bank accounts? Have they shown you their credit card, their credit card balances? Have you had a look at that? You're just seeing one side of it. And I feel that a lot of it is, it's not real. It's not normal people. Normal people don't go out every night or every weekend and spend $6,000 or $3,000 having a nice time. And one of the things that I'm noticing now is a lot of young men are choosing to sit at home. There's nothing wrong with sitting at home. You can sit at home, call some of your mates, get a takeaway or something, and have drinks at home and have meaningful conversation. You're going to go into a club or a bar and it's so loud you can't even hear yourself think. You can't even think in there, and you're pop like. I think it has to be asked, who actually brought that culture? Where did that culture come from? That bottle service culture. It just feels like a lot of it is fake life, fake it till you make it. And we need to come down to this small wins mindset. You can have small wins and still be happy. I personally think you can set yourself small goals on a yearly basis that, okay, maybe I want to do this course so that I can get this certificate. You can do that. You can do little things like, okay, I want to lose 1 kilogram. You can set yourself a month goal. I want to lose 1 kilo. You can do little things to make yourself, that much happier. And also, if your child comes to you, if you have children and they say they want something, you need to be able to say no without feeling guilty. A lot of us were raised with the word no, that we decided, when we have kids, we're going to say yes to everything. Yes, you can't have yes days every day. You need to be able to say no to your children or to even your friends or people around you and not feel guilty. We're all trapped in this mindset that, if you say no, how will this person feel, or blah, blah, blah. But think about it. If you say yes to everything, you will burn out. Inevitably, you will inevitably burn out. You need to be able to say no and not feel guilty about it and know that you did the right thing for yourself. I feel like if you say no once in a while, it will actually do you good. I know my daughter asked for something recently and I said no, and she wasn't happy. But one of the things I try and do is, whenever I say no, you can't do something, or no, you can't have something, I will tell you the reasons why you can't have it and why I've said no. And I tell them that it's better that I tell you why it's not going to happen, so that later on in the future, if you need therapy, you can always tell the therapist that my mother said no because and this is how it made me feel. But at least I've told you why the answer is going to be a no to whatever question it is that you're asking. Where this whole gentle parenting thing, it's not for everybody. Some children need the hard nose, and some of them you based on how they've behaved, if it's really, really good, you'll be like, okay, yes, you deserve it. Okay, yes, you've done well. Okay, I will do this for you. But even at that, you can't say yes to everything. You have to be able to say no without feeling guilty. And moving on from that, I think ultimately we're now in a society where everything is sort of like protect your peace. And it is true. You need to find a way to protect your peace. You need to find a way to stand your ground, like I said, with saying no and protecting your own peace as an individual, because we're living in a time where everything is so fluid. Everything is hard and fast. Everything is now. Everything is at your fingertips. You have to be able to block out all the noise and just protect your peace. Protect what is making you sane. Protect what is making you normal, and not feel guilty that you're not out, outside. I'm outside. Let's be real. If you're outside, you're spending. As we're saying that there's cost of living crisis, if you're outside, you're spending. If you're outside, you might end up somewhere you don't necessarily want to be, and you might not be able to say no. You might not be able to say no. So if you're going to be outside, make sure you have it planned. Make sure you have it planned that, okay, this is... One of the things I try and do is I don't bite more than I can chew. If I can do something, I'll say I can do it. But if I know I can't do it, I will assess the situation and then decide, okay, if I do this, what is it going to take away from me? Because we now have a society where if you're the one in the group that says, oh, I don't want to do this, you're sort of the outlier. You're on the outside, you're on the outs. And there's nothing wrong with being on the outs. If you don't agree with something, even as adults, you can still be peer pressured. And you know what I'm talking about. Even as an adult, you can be peer pressured. You need to be able to say no. You need to be able to protect your peace. You need to be able to protect your pocket. If for any reason you do something that is outside yourself, that you cannot afford, when you're at home drinking Gary, that is cassava flakes. No one's going to be there with you. If when you're at home eating cereal, nobody is going to be eating that cereal with you. So be mindful. One of the things that I believe, like I'm not 18, I'm in my 40s. So for me, if I know I can't do something, I will just gracefully bow out and say, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Being able to say no without feeling guilty. It's not just with family. It's also with friends. You being able to say, okay, I don't want to do this. If you want to do it and you want to, YOLO and spend money, that's great for you. But that doesn't necessarily mean I want to do it. That doesn't, I in my mind, I already have things that I want to do for myself. And if I know that I can't afford to do something or it will take out of me, it's better just to gracefully bow out and, just be realistic about it. And one of the things as well, as I've mentioned, one of the things that can be helpful, I think, if I go through all of them again, just small wins, having a small wins mindset, being able to say no without feeling guilty, protecting your peace ultimately. And also, I think one of the things that can help as well in today's society is having realistic self-care things that you can do for yourself. Not the Instagram version though, like simple self-care things. I think because everyone is hustling and bustling, you're not thinking to yourself that there's little things you can do. For me, the little things that I do for myself that I know has now sort of become part and parcel of myself. I do my nails. At least every 3 weeks. I do my nails for myself. Although it's now part of me and it feels like a chore, but it's one of those little things that I do for myself. And also, at least maybe every 6 weeks or every 2 months, I do facials. I go and do facials for myself. The thing I want to add on now is I want to add on having massages, having the massage, little things like that. I think and when I said not the Instagram version will say things like, oh yes, get on a flight and fly here and fly. You can actually do that if you plan in advance. You can actually do things like that for yourself to make yourself just feel happy. But you can do small things as well. Small things like doing your nails, like having a facial, like having a manicure. Even for men as well. In my nail salon, I see men now come in. I see men come in and have manicures and pedicures for themselves. Self-care. I know that some things might be beyond your reach in terms of what you can afford and where you can go, but there are little things that you can do for yourself. And also, if you even go on places like, ba.com, lastminute.com, there's small trips you can do as well that are under a certain amount if you can travel and do for yourself. Just to have a mental break, mental reset, even if it's just for a weekend and then come back. Those are small wins. I feel like, social media, aka Instagram, aka TikTok, when you see some things that some people do, it just makes you feel like, oh my gosh, why aren't I doing that? But I can assure you, you're looking at a split second of that person's life. You're looking at a split second of their life, which is maybe 7 days that has been compressed into one video. But that's not how every day is going to look. And also, they're not going to look like that every day. They're not going to be wearing a lace wig every day. They're not going to be in Dubai every day. They're not going to be in Mayfair every day. They're not going to be in Central drinking champagne every day or be on the rooftop in Saint-Tropez, etc. Or they're just not going to be doing that every day. So I think we need to be mindful. Once upon a time, someone went on a trip and came back and said, oh, I did this, I did that, I did this, I did. Now you're seeing it visually and you just feel a bit deflated that, oh gosh, why aren't I doing that? But you know what? What you're doing is probably not bad. You just probably need to incorporate some realistic goals, small wins for yourself. You don't have to do the big, extravagant. One of the things I did for myself when I turned 40, I said that I did not want a big party because I felt that it wasn't me. I know the personality I have, people have this impression that, oh, I wanted to do like a big party, but I didn't. I just wanted to go on a trip with my family. That was what I wanted to do. I wanted to go on a memorable trip with my family, have a nice time, good memories and come back. That's what I wanted to do. And that's what I did. And one of the things I said was that I wasn't going to do this pressurized, throw a party that people would just come and eat and then go home. I wanted an experience. And I'm so grateful and happy that that's what I did because it was, for me, it was fantastic. My family was there. I had family there. My kids were there. My husband was there. The people that meant a lot to me were actually there. It was a destination thing, but it was what I wanted to do. And the people that came along, I was very grateful that they decided to do that with me. But when you look at some of the videos, you think, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, it was actually stressful to plan. It was actually stressful to plan. But if you look at it, it can fall into this Instagram version view, blah, blah, blah. To be honest, if my sister hadn't made videos for me, I wouldn't have posted anything. I think most of the posts were hers, and it was when this collaboration thing started and she added me into it. If not, I wouldn't have posted anything because posting I've just realized is work. And I have said in my previous videos that all content creators, my hat goes out to all of them because it is hard work to constantly be posting. But that's what I did. That's what I did. And if you watch it, you be like, oh my God, everything looks so perfect. But it was stressful. It was stressful in reality. But we still had fun. You know what? Based on everything I've even just spoken about, if we bring it all in, can I ask a question, guys? Can you tell me if you are feeling everything that I'm feeling that I've spoken about, can you tell me if you're feeling that as well? Can you tell me? Can you please just comment about this? Put comments under this for me so I can read them and reply back to you. Are you feeling the same way? Are you feeling the same way? And also, what has been heavy for you to deal with of late? I know that I can't be the only one that is feeling the cost of living crisis, or just feeling like, not that you're failing, but you feel like everything is on top of you. You're feeling like everything's on top of you to the point where you're just tired. You're just tired, and you just would rather be in bed. You'd rather be in bed. One of the things I'm so happy and grateful for is that my kids are older now, and they can cook, they can look after themselves, which is a lot, which for me I'm so grateful for. Because sometimes when it's a weekend and someone asks, what are you doing? I'll be like, no, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm sleeping. I'm in my bed. There have been particular weekends this year where, say, my husband will ask me, what are you doing today? And it's Saturday, and I'll say, I'm going to be in bed, lying down, doing nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm going to veg out in bed. The only time I might get up is my kids say, okay, they have an activity, and then I have to get up. Or I want to cook something. Even cooking. Is it me, or is cooking a chore? I used to enjoy it, but now I just feel like it's a chore. Please, guys, are you feeling the same way? Please comment and share this with people around you. Share this episode with people around you. Are you feeling overwhelmed as an adult? Are you feeling overwhelmed as an adult? And what I've realized is that you don't even have to have kids to feel this. You don't have to have children. Are you feeling overwhelmed as an adult and just don't want to do anything because they sold us a scam? They scammed us. The boomers scammed us. The boomers and the early Gen X's, they literally scammed us and told us this was going to be a cakewalk. And we're realizing it isn't. It's just, it is what it is. Guys, please, just comment, like and comment, and let me know that I'm not the only one that's feeling like that. I'm not going crazy. I want people to come back to me about this. Everything just feels so pressurized. And in the same breath, for the people that actually have teenagers, you're now trying to guide them through GCSEs. You're trying to guide them through A-levels. You're trying to guide them through what they should go and do in university. And at the same time, you're thinking at the back of your head, they've said AI is taking over. So what do they do? What courses do they do? How do you guide your children? For those people that have children, how are you going to guide your children? It is overwhelming. It is overwhelming. You just feel like, what is the point of it all? But you will sleep and you wake up tomorrow and you have to keep going. You can't back down. You have to get up and keep going and believe that it will get better tomorrow. You have to believe that it will get better. You have to believe that, you have to believe and have faith that prices will come down, that your earnings will match up with the pricing of what's in the stores. And that, that trip have you seen flight tickets these days? Jet fuel is expensive. I want to go away on a holiday. Have you seen what holidays cost? You have to, when you sleep and you wake up, you have to believe that tomorrow is going to get better. And I think for me, to end it, if you're struggling right now, you're not alone. You are not alone. And you're probably doing a lot better than you think you are. Well, that's it for me on TWR, aka Talk It with Ruth. I hope you've enjoyed this. I would like you to please like, follow, share, subscribe if you like what's going on. And I will bring you some more interesting and insightful topics throughout the year. Thank you very much. Love you. Bye.